Hey y'all, I'm back and I have more of your paranormal stories that I'm so nervous to read. I saved these so long ago and I started skimming the first story again because sometimes I can't help myself. I'm not ready for this, but we're gonna get into it. This says, The Man Under My Bed. Hi, my name is Arwen and I'm from a small town in England. When I was younger, I had a lot of paranormal experiences that weren't necessarily too scary. For example, I used to see children playing on the field behind my house in the middle of the night, and I would see my mom's granddad a lot. I'm so sorry seeing children playing in the middle of the night is not scary, but when I was 8 years old, me and my family moved. The house was small, which meant you could hear everything. Me and my 2 younger sisters shared a room at the front of the house. There was a set of bunk beds, which I shared with one of my sisters, and a single bed placed directly under the ladders of my bed. The first few weeks living in the house were pretty normal. Nothing paranormal happened, but my sister decided it was a good idea to bring a fucking evil spirit home with her. It was 9 p.m. on a Sunday, and my sister was on the train home visiting from her boyfriend. She rang my mom hysterically crying, saying handprints kept appearing on the door of the train, and a man's face kept appearing in the window. My mom told her to go sit next to someone and talk to them, but she was alone in the carriage. The whole carriage was completely empty. Shut up. My mom and I stayed on the phone until she got off the train. When she got home, she was crying, saying she could see a shadow following her as she walked. I remember my mom telling her not to worry and she was probably just seeing things, but turns out she wasn't. I have loads of experiences, but these are the few I can remember because of how scary they were. You guys, I can't. It was a few days after my sister had the experience and me and my younger sisters were getting ready for bed. I was trying to sleep, but I felt weird. I felt like something was wrong, and I could hear footsteps as if somebody was pacing up and down the hallway. I knew my older sisters were in their room, so I figured it was them, so I shouted and asked them to stop, but they didn't reply, so I got out of bed to tell my mom. When I opened my door, I realized nobody was there, but I could hear the footsteps. It carried on like this for a couple of nights, but things got worse. I had a horrible dream that I still remember to this day. In my dream, I woke up in my bathtub and the whole room was black and a red handprint was smeared across the mirror. I saw the light in my parents' room was on, so I got out of the bath and went over to their room. When I got to it, it was empty and there was a black figure hunched over in the corner. It turned completely around and a man with a top hat, red bow tie, and completely white eyes smiled at me. He contorted his body and turned completely black. He lunged at me and I started to run. He chased me through the house until I came to the back door and he grabbed my arm. That's when I woke up. I had a weird feeling that somebody was watching me. I wanted to get my mom, so I turned to face the window. As I did, I saw a man, the same man from my dreams, slither from underneath my younger sister's bed and just sit at the end of it looking down at her sleeping. I knew I couldn't get down without passing that man, so I just laid there scared shitless with my eyes closed. The next morning I told my mom what happened and she told me it was probably a bad dream. Slithering. I had the same dream every single night and it caused me to have sleeping problems as I was never able to sleep after I woke up. This next experience wasn't one that I had, but my sister did, and it still gives me the creeps to this day. Whenever we would take showers, the man would sit on the end of the step, made to help younger kids get into the bathtub, and watch us. Every girl in the house experienced the same thing. One day, my sister and her best friend, around 16 at the time, were home alone. My sister had taken a shower and had seen the man in the mirror. It was quite normal, so she didn't freak out much, but her and her friends were taking pictures on an app. It was one of those apps that took about 1,000 photos and turned them into a video. And in the background of one of the photos, a little girl was stood in the mirror. Only thing is she was dressed in Victorian clothing and my sister and her friend were home alone. When they showed us the photo, it wouldn't let them get out of it. It was as if somebody was trying to mock us and make it known that they were there. 30 minutes later, we hear a crash in my sister's room and start screaming and frantically pulling on the door. I was terrified and I ran to go see what was going on. My 2 older sisters and their friends were screaming, asking for help. They were locked in their room, but the door didn't have a lock on it. In the end, my dad ended up kicking the door down. My sisters were crying and their friend had a huge cut on her arm. Apparently they had been sat on her bed, which was the top bunk, and she felt somebody push her off of it. She fell right into the mirror and it cracked. After that, we all slept in the same room. I would never sleep again. This thing was evil and attempted to harm us many times, but I was its main target. At Christmas time, the tree was sturdy and hadn't fallen down in the 21 days it had been up, and it fell on top of me and nearly crushed me. I got stuck inside of the toy box and nearly suffocated. A rope got wrapped around my neck in the middle of the night, and the scariest of all, I nearly drowned in the bath. I remember the feeling of hands holding me under and I was so young I couldn't get up. I was screaming and I seriously thought I was going to die. After 7 months of living in this house, we decided to move again. On the day we were moving, we woke up to all the plates smashed on the floor. Everyone freaked out, but we were moving, so we didn't worry too much. I was in my room that was empty apart from a few boxes and my toy box and my wardrobe. Inside the wardrobe was a toy bank. I was playing with a doll when my wardrobe opened. I turned around as the toy bank came flying at my head. It hit the wall behind me with so much force it left a dent. My parents ran upstairs thinking I had fallen and I was shaking. I was so scared I couldn't even tell them what happened because I was just shocked and crying. We were taken to the new house and stayed there until we had to go collect some of the last bits. Me, my older sister, and her friend went into the house to get the last box from my mom's room while my mom waited in the car. From my mom's room, you could see the entrance to my room and the wardrobe, which we were leaving there. And as we were about to leave, the man stepped out of the wardrobe and smiled at us. We ran to the car screaming, and as we drove off, we saw him at the window of my old room, waving. All of us thought the paranormal activity would stop there, but whatever was in that house followed us. This is already pretty long, so I'll make a part 2. I don't think I've seen part 2. I didn't see that. I didn't see part 2 on there. And I don't know if I can handle a part 2. Oh my god, that is so much that happened. That's so scary. That's so scary. Him stepping out of the wardrobe right after throwing a toy at your head, so you like know it's him for a fact, and then like waving at you goodbye like mockingly, but then also following you. Shut up. I literally like have to move on from that one because that's gonna sit in my brain for the rest of my life. This says, hi, I need some help. I hope you have the best day. Just some paranormal stuff. Oh my god, it's like so casual and I know it's gonna be bad. Hi, my name is Corey and I've been wanting to share this story and ask for help. Okay, so this starts when I was in my mother's womb. My mother used to have nightmares and sleep paralysis where she would see a shadow man. He was trying to get into her stomach to get to me. My father would have to wake her up every time. The shadow man would have an olden day coat, walking stick, and a top hat. My mother told me I used to talk to something, but my mom and dad brushed it off and thought I was talking to my dad's mom, who sadly passed away. She said I would mumble something that was too quiet to make out. I would sit in my room and continue mumbling randomness. Only recently, I started seeing the shadow man. I woke up about midnight to 3 in the morning. I noticed something was standing in the corner of my room. My bed was underneath my window and my closet is on the left when sitting on the bed. To your right is where something was standing in my room. I could see a figure. At that moment, I was very awake. I looked directly at what I think was the face. When the figure noticed I was watching it, the figure made its way to my bed, and I'm lying in the middle, by the way. It leaned over my bed and just stood there. I have no clue when I fell asleep, but I woke up and it wasn't there. How? Another time something happened, I had a really good friend I had known for years over, and it was only 10 p.m. We were just under the blankets. We were chilling on my bed and something pulls the blanket down and half of it was on the floor. I turned my phone torch on, climbed to the end of my bed, looked underneath, and nothing was there except for a teddy bear. I picked it up and removed it from my room. I asked her if she did that. She shook her head and just cried. I often see white lights, spirits, and shadow people, aging from young to older people. I have dreams of seeing people who passed, and sometimes they get so close to me that I can feel them breathing on my back. I've had conversations, and if I can spend too much time in a house, I just contact the spirits like a bond between family. I met this one spirit, her name was Ariel. She was a little girl who stood over my bed while I slept. She had a black and purple dress, black hair with bangs, and very dark eyes and pale skin. Multiple times, I would feel her crawl into my bed and under the covers. Naturally, I would put a pillow between us, naturally. Sometimes she would say things like, she won't hurt me, don't be afraid. I believe in trusting my gut before anything else, and my gut didn't trust her. So each time I would sleep in my bed, I'd say, don't touch me, do not pass this wood, whatever the bed was made out of. And whenever I didn't, I would feel somebody there, and I would have to repeat this every night. The last encounter I recently had, I was lying in bed working on school projects and something started rubbing my shoulder. I thought maybe it was my hair until something grabbed me. The reason I'm asking and telling you this is because no matter what, I feel like I can't control this. I'll ask the spirit something and it turns out that was the day they passed. I'm scared because I don't know what's happening to me, so please, if you can give me some advice or help, I just want to know why this is happening to me. I feel like you're like a medium. I don't know, but I feel like they're trying to talk to you for a reason, and I don't know what the reason is, and I don't know if they're evil or not. I don't know, I'm scared. I don't know how to help. I have no advice for you. Okay, and then this last story has 2 parts. So this says The Ghost in My Friend's House, Part 1. Hi, I'm Katie. I live in England. My mom had a friend called Diana. Diana lives on a farm in the middle of Scotland, in the middle of nowhere. Diana has 5 children. One's already moved out. The farmhouse they live in has only been around for about 100 years, and I'm really close with 3 of the children. One week I was visiting them. Shit broke loose when I was there. The first night, me and 3 of the children, Mateo, Anthony, and Chase, were chilling on the sofa in the living room. To give you some context of where the living room is, when you walk through the front door, as soon as you walk in, the stairs are in front of you. If you turn right and go around the stairs, you get to the living room that leads onto the kitchen. Anyways, as we're chilling out, we hear a massive smash come from the kitchen. It sounded like 4 plates were being smashed at the same time. Me being a pussy sends Anthony to go look. He walks in and immediately walks back into the living room. As he walks back in, I felt like someone run behind me. I was sat on the sofa and the back of my head was facing the stairs. I passed it off as wind. Around 11, we were all just awake watching movies. Then we hear a little girl's voice say, "Peekaboo." I literally almost shat myself. Then we heard footsteps in the kitchen. They have 10 dogs. 4 of them were cowering on the furthest side of the living room. They have a puppy called Max. He's like the bravest dog ever. He was even cowering next to me and Chase. Anthony gets up, walks into the kitchen and says, "Whoever you are, get out of my house." As soon as he finished his sentence, the office door, which is right next to the stairs, flings open and then shut. About 5 minutes later, the dogs are back to normal, and then the office door swings open again. All 10 dogs start howling, barking, and crying at the door. I kid you not, we hear the loudest bang from upstairs right above us. But the only thing above us is a roof. All the dogs just shut up. Not even the oldest one barely makes a noise, and he's deaf. Now it's like 12. We aren't that tired. Obviously, I would never be tired again. I got up and went to the kitchen to get some popcorn. As soon as I walk into the kitchen, the back door swings open and then closed. This is the first night I was there. I grabbed the popcorn and I ran out of there. I'm glad you still got the popcorn though. I'll put more of the scarier experiences in part 2. Fuck. And I have part 2. Hi, this is Katie again. This will be the more scary experiences with the ghosts. My friends and I have finally figured out that there are 3 main ghosts in the house. 2 children ghosts and 1 adult. One of the children ghosts, who's a girl, definitely does not like me. 1 week ago, I visited my friends in Scotland. Mateo, Anthony, Chase, and I decided to use a Ouija board. We got a response almost straight away. My stomach was doing flips as the planchette began to move. Anyways, Anthony asked, "What is your name?" The planchette started moving around to April, so I asked, "Is that your name?" And the planchette moved to yes. I asked, "Do you want us to call you April?" The planchette instantly moved to yes. My friend, Chase, looked uncomfortable. We asked a few more questions, which I've forgotten. Mateo asked, "Are you good or bad?" The planchette circled the board, then moved to maybe. Maybe, Mateo said out loud. The planchette moved to yes. As soon as it moved to yes, Chase's phone dropped on the floor, but nobody was sitting near it at all. It was on the other end of the table. Chase asked, "Was that you, April?" This gets freaky. The planchette moved to no. Anthony asked, stupidly, "Who was it then?" The response was T. I asked, "Is T a good spirit?" The planchette hesitated for about 30 to 40 seconds, then moved to no, then moved to yes. Immediately I felt nauseous and had an awful headache, so we ended it. I don't like this. Later in the day, around 3 in the afternoon, I was watching Netflix with Mateo and Anthony when we heard a massive bang come from upstairs. Then Chase comes running down the stairs, pale. We ask him what's wrong. He literally says, shaking, "April is bad." I remember I got the fuck out. I didn't even ask. I walked straight to the back garden, right down to the last field, and there was a bench. Anthony came with me. Around 8 p.m., we were in the kitchen making dinner. All of us, Anthony, Mateo, Chase, Leah, their sister, Diana, their mom, and David, their stepdad, and I. So I was by the back door where a counter is, making some tomato sauce for pasta. I put the knife I was using on the counter. Then I see this shiny thing go straight past my face. The literal knife was thrown at me. Everyone else is not near me at all. Then something hits me on the back of the head. A spoon I used to taste the sauce was thrown at me. Leah starts crying her eyes out. I just stand there in shock for at least a minute. The knife? We have dinner. I feel nauseous again, so I go up to bed around 9:30. About 10, I hear my door open. I thought it was going to be Chase or Mateo because they said they would check on me. I look up, a bit blurry, to see the outline of a little girl half hiding behind my door. She had a really ashy face. I could only make out a nose. Then I blinked and she was gone. I got up, ran down the stairs to the boys and Leah, and I told them what happened. Anyways, around 1 in the morning, everyone's in bed apart from me, Anthony, Mateo, and Chase. We very stupidly decided to use the Ouija board again. We asked if anybody's there, the planchette moved to yes. We asked if it's April, and the planchette moved to yes, then moves to no. Chase asked, "Is there another spirit here apart from April?" The planchette slowly moved to Oliver. I asked, "Is this Oliver?" The planchette took longer than the other few times, but slowly moved to yes. Then the clock right behind me smashed onto the floor. The clock was on a table against the wall. About an hour goes by and we keep talking to this Oliver and April. We were playing in the kitchen. The mug cabinet door is flung open. I almost shat myself. We asked who it was and the planchette moved to T. We think that T is a bad spirit who likes to mess with us. April's just a little girl who's mischievous and not bad, but Oliver's just a ghost. He's just a ghost! The fact that you guys talk to I don't know or think necessarily that it's T, but the fact that you guys talked to somebody named T and had all this stuff happen, I'm getting flashbacks. I don't like it. I'm done. Okay, well that's all I have for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm done. I don't like the T stories. I don't like anybody involving the name T. I don't like it. But if you guys have any more paranormal stories you want to share with me or the community, I'll have my subreddit link down below. I do not have time to ramble, unfortunately. I'm on a time crunch filming this video because my friend is coming over. But I think I've rambled in my last couple videos. Finally, so I gave you something to work with prior, but I love you guys so much and I will see you in the next one. Bye.